Good morning, I'm Barbara Kay, here with Susan Pertnoy, and welcome to Mosaic, Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County's weekly news magazine show. Mosaic explores Jewish topics here in the Palm Beaches and around the world.
The Palm Beaches continue to grow as a center of business development. As more and more professionals and their families call our community home, Jewish professionals are joining together to create a unique impact in our community.
This morning on Mosaic, we'll speak with two professionals who recently led a powerful volunteering service project for dozens of professionals and families.
We'll take a look around at an impactful day of volunteering led by professionals on Martin Luther King Day.
And then we'll sit down with Craig Storch, Chair of Jewish Professionals Network, to discuss how our growing community of professionals is uniting around a shared purpose.
We'll be right back with Mosaic after this brief message.
They say that caring for the elderly is a profession of the heart. As the Director of Home Health Care at Morse Life, I know that to be true. When I see an older person feeling safe and secure at home, I know I've done my job. To make a difference, to show compassion, dignity, and respect, it's not just our job, it's our mission.
Morse Life Home Health Care.
Morse Life Health System, honoring senior living.
What if you could change the world? You can. We can do it together. Federation and you. Changing the world together.
We're here with Juliana Gendelman and Christopher Goldberg, chairs of today's event at the Boys and Girls Club. Tell us about what's going on here today.
So today we had, I'd say about 200 volunteers who came, and we gathered early this morning at about 8 a.m. in the gym, and the kids all played and mingled and the adults networked a little bit, and from there we broke up into about 14 different teams. And we had teams doing everything from painting activity rooms to planting a garden. We planted a lot of citrus trees outside for the kids. We washed down the school buses. We painted benches. We packed, most importantly in my mind, we packed 600 meals for kids to bring home, because a lot of the boys and girls who come to the club here don't have meals either after school or on weekends. So it was very important to us that the meals were a big part of today, that they got to bring a meal home. And then in each meal bag we put in a special note that said "Have a great day," and everyone wrote an individual message on there, whether it was keep up the good work at school, or they wrote a joke or something that would just make those kids smile when they opened the bag. So to us, that was probably the biggest part about today, is just making sure that those kids got meals. So
why did you decide to chair this event? You're really not a part of the Jewish Professional Network, but you agreed to take on
Absolutely.
This big position.
We were honored to do that. I mean, especially in conjunction with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day and the Day of Service, we believe it's so important to give back to our community. We live in a community that has so much, but unfortunately the majority of our community doesn't. So it's very important for the two of us, but also for our daughter, to show that importance of giving back and helping others who maybe aren't as fortunate.
And why do you choose to be a part of the Jewish community?
I think especially for me growing up, my paternal grandfather was a Holocaust survivor, and just sort of knowing our Jewish identity and our Jewish background has always been important. And my parents did a lot of events with us like this growing up, and when we lived in Washington, D.C., when we were dating, and early in our marriage, we would do things like this all the time, and whether it was with the JCC or other organizations, or through our temple, I think it's very, very important that you're just helping, and this may not necessarily serve the Jewish community here, the boys and girls who are here, but I think we're coming together as a community and helping out everybody.
It's a very Jewish thing to do.
Exactly, right, to help anybody regardless of who it is.
And that's right, and we believe a rising tide rises all boats, and we want to make sure our community is better, the Jewish community, but also the greater community. And for us, that's winning, and a win-win for both.
And what about your upbringing? Were you involved in your Jewish community?
Yes, I was a little bit growing up. Obviously, as Juliana and I started dating and got married, I became much more involved given her passion for it. So it's something that we are going to instill in our daughter. and are very proud to sort of be a part of this activity and this event.
It really is something, taking the time out of your life to go above and beyond and be a part of the bigger community. It's important.
We said that to a lot of our friends this morning. We said, I know you have off of work and off of school, and it's a lot easier to hang out in your PJs and watch the morning shows and not do this, but that doesn't feel as good as coming out here and helping these kids. And this is already a really beautiful center, but making it just even better. And when those kids walk in the door tomorrow, they're going to be really excited to take those meal bags, see their new billiards room painted, check out their new garden, and that's what it's about, that those kids are going to feel the same joy that our kids might feel.
Absolutely. And we, talking to our friends, a lot of them during the course of the day were just telling us how happy they are to participate and help out and get dirty and be covered in paint. And they really felt special doing that. So that will be paid forward to those kids when they arrive in the club tomorrow.
It really will be, and not to mention that a lot of them brought their children to participate, which is such a great learning experience.
And we heard from a lot of people that they want their kids to come back again and do other things in the community, and it was really, I think, special for us because with the Professionals Network, they do a lot of terrific events, but I think it's really nice to get the families involved, and it's hard if you have to get a babysitter or you're just coming off of work to go to another event, and I think when you can incorporate the whole family and pass those messages down to your kids, there's nothing better than that. And even the little ones who are writing messages, we had some 2-year-olds writing messages to put in the food bags, and their parents would write over it, their name and their age, and that's what it's about. You're going to put a smile on somebody's face when they see those. And we also had, which I forgot to mention, we had bins that we're going to put fresh herbs in, and all the kids painted those, and we're going to bring those over to Morris Life. So
that's
that
wonderful.
all of those people
those
who are at Morris
messages
Life
can be shared.
Right,
and
exactly.
So
and they wrote cards for them as well. So we had a few different communities that were served here this morning.
That's very powerful. How do you think, in your estimation, how would you go about getting more young people involved in the Federation and their activities?
I think it really starts at home. One of the most terrific things that the Federation does is PJ Library, and we actually just received the most wonderful PJ Library book this past week, and we read them every month. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a Jewish message per se, but just a message of helping one another and kindness and support for your community, and that's really what those books help do. So even for the little ones where you're reading them those books, and maybe at your Shabbat dinner you're doing tzedakah and you're talking about where that money could be better served than putting it in your own piggy bank at home. And we certainly do that with our daughter every Friday night on Shabbat. We talk about the peak and pit of our day and what we're grateful for, and she puts her tzedakah in, and when the tzedakah box is full, we talk about who might need that more than she does. And I think just spreading those messages in your own home and then taking it to their schools, and certainly the Federation is doing a lot of these great events, and the more we can do, the better.
And they've been very good about connecting individuals to their passion. I think anytime you can do that and you identify someone's passion, you are able to have a successful event.
Yes.
I mean, for us, we're involved with the Boys and Girls Club here in Palm Beach County, and this was sort of a perfect opportunity to sort of combine our two passions and create this wonderful event. So we're very excited about that possibility.
It is remarkable how many opportunities one can become a part of through the Federation. They really touch so many lives on so many different levels, from birth to death.
Absolutely.
So there's an opportunity for everyone.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people may not know that those opportunities are out there, and I think they're reaching out to different communities and different constituencies, and finding something for everybody. And certainly with the little ones to get them involved early is important.
Well, you which is so sweet, you have the tzedakah box on Friday nights, and then now she's here actually at an event where people need it.
That's exactly right.
So she can touch and feel what she's doing.
Yep, she gets to
wonderful.
sort of, absolutely. She can actually see it in practice, and it's very special for us.
And to talk about with them that they're lucky and they have food on the table when they come home at night, that a lot of the friends who are a few short miles away from where we live may not have that same thing is really powerful on a level I think that they can understand. And you know, I think I saw a lot of the kids going around today saying, I want to help more, I want to help more. And so they were, you know, moving from station to station, and that's what it's about.
Yes, and so we can't drop the ball, and we have to keep them engaged.
Exactly.
Keep the momentum going, absolutely.
Exactly.
Keeping them engaged, and, you know, certainly bringing a lot of that back to their schools as well, and very, very important.
So do you have anything, are you cooking up anything next?
Well, we're definitely, this for sure, we would love to make an annual event. May not be at the Boys and Girls Club, it could be at another location next year, but
definitely have the connection to Martin Luther King Day would be something we would really like to see happen. Institutionalize that, because we think the combination of the two is so great. So.
It really is. Well, thank you for joining us,
you.
and thank
Thank
you
you so
for
much.
what you've been doing.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thanks so much.
Coming up, we'll take a look around at a recent day of volunteering service led by professionals on Martin Luther King Day.
The patients who come to us after illness or injury are often in pain and fearful of losing their independence. I make it my mission to treat them like family. I listen to their concerns. I help them heal and gain strength. My goal is for them to not need us. To know that I help them, there's no better feeling.
Morse Life Short-Term Rehabilitation.
Morse Life Health System, honoring senior living.
From empowering Jewish college students to stand up to anti-Israel activity on campus, to enabling seniors and Holocaust survivors to age with dignity, transforming, inspiring, saving, Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County is doing all of this here and around the world.
Hi, Bobby. What are you doing here today?
Well, me and about 20 volunteers with this particular project, we packaged out goodie bags or food bags, which included macaroni and cheese, oatmeal, and about 7 other various snacks.
Why did you take this day to stop and help in the community?
It was actually my wife's idea. We're part of the JCC down in Boynton, and a couple of our close friends, Shane and Jeff Silver, asked us to help out for the Boys and Girls Club today, and we're more than happy to help.
How about the Jewish Federation? Why in your mind is it important to connect with them?
I mean, the Jewish Federation is, you know, just the way they offer to help people and do different things and have different programs. It's just great for the community to connect, and just glad to be a part of it.
Well, we're glad you're a part of it. Do you have a family?
Yes, I do. My wife Melissa is here, and my 6-year-old daughter Jessica is here as well.
And are they packing bags right now?
Absolutely. They're back there and going at it and having a good time.
Thank you for joining us today, and you better get back to work.
I hear you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Barry, what are you doing here today?
I'm helping out painting this community room at the Boys and Girls Club.
Now, why did you take today to volunteer?
Well, because I think the Boys and Girls Club is a great organization, and really in the spirit of Martin Luther King Day is helping out and giving back to the community.
Are you part of the JPN network?
Yes, I am. I came down here a year ago from New York and got involved with JPN and Federation, and it's a great way to give back to the community and meet other people in the area, so it's been a really good group that I've gotten involved with.
That's terrific. If you were to tell somebody at home why it's so important to be involved in a federation, what would you tell them?
I think because the Federation gives a lot back to the overall community throughout Palm Beach County, and there are a number of agencies they support, and those agencies are helping not only the Jewish community but everybody that's in need, from the elderly down to the youngest individual. And I think it's part of all of us to give back, that have had some success, and be able to give it back to the community.
Well said. I'm going to let you get back to painting. Thank
Great.
you for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We're here with Amy and Annabelle. Hi, ladies. What are you two doing here today?
Hi. What are we doing, Annabelle?
We are painting.
Painting, yes.
I see some paint in your hair.
We're covered in it. We're here with the Jewish Federation at the Boys and Girls Club in West Palm Beach, and we're doing service projects on MLK Day.
And what exactly did you do here?
We painted.
You painted the classrooms?
We were in a rec center for teenagers. So there were pool tables, and it needed new paint on the walls and trim on the windows. It was pretty scuffed up. So we were happy to come and put a fresh coat of paint on things.
That's wonderful. Why did you take the time to do this today?
Well, our Annabelle is 8 and our son is 6, and sometimes on MLK Day it's just a day off. So I was really excited when I saw the invitation for this, because it's a chance to come and actually connect with our hands and serve and honor MLK Day and teach our kids.
That's a great ethic. Why is it important to you to be part of the Jewish community?
Well, I love this event because it brought the Jewish Federation, Christians, people who just want to serve, everyone together, and together at a place that is serving an underserved neighborhood. So I really love that it's everyone together, and I love that the Jewish Federation took the lead for that.
Wonderful, thank you. Sure. I'm going to let you get back to work.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Annabelle.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Take care.
Hi, Jeremy. What are you doing here today?
I have the privilege of volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club today, and it's just a great experience. It's very meaningful to be here getting my hands dirty. It's one thing to write that check once a year, but it's another thing to participate, break a sweat, and help out in the community the best we can.
Why are you involved in our Jewish community?
I think it's in my DNA. I was brought up in West Palm Beach. I was brought up in I'll use air quotes or quote unquote, Federation home. My mother, my father were involved, my grandparents were involved. And then I was lucky enough to find a woman who worked for Federation and marry her. So that's why I'm involved. I'm involved because I have 2 kids that I want to see grow up in a thriving Jewish community. I'm involved because I want to make sure they know how important it is to be Jewish and how important it is to give back.
If you were to tell a viewing audience why they should make a pledge for our 2017 Federation campaign, what would you say?
I would say the Federation does more with $1 than you can do on your own. They know more about what's going on in the world and where the funds really need to go than anybody else. And they strive to use the money the best they can. And that's why we give.
Powerful argument. Thank you.
Thank
and I'm
you.
going to tell you to get back to work.
Thanks.
Coming up, we'll sit down with Craig Storch, Chair of Jewish Professionals Network, to discuss how our growing community of professionals is uniting around a shared purpose.
From empowering Jewish college students to stand up to anti-Israel activity on campus, to enabling seniors and Holocaust survivors to age with dignity, transforming, inspiring, saving, Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County is doing all of this here and around the world.
What if you could change the world? You can. We can do it together. Federation and you. Changing the world together.
We're here with Craig and Lucas Storch. Apparently we lost Big Brother Sam, who was here as well today. Lucas, what have you been doing here at the Boys and Girls Club? Have you been painting?
I've been painting, packing food, and planting.
Planting. And do you like volunteering?
Yes.
Why?
It's fun.
That's good. That's good. Well, we're glad that you were able to help the Boys and Girls Club today. Craig, you're the chair of the Jewish Professional Network. Mm-hmm. Tell us about it.
Sure, happy to. Yeah, the Jewish Professionals Network, or the JPN, is a division of the Federation that's designed to support professional networking in the community amongst all different folks, both in the medical professional, legal professionals, accountants, finance folks, and create opportunities for them to get together throughout the year and meet with one another to support and foster the business community. And also, of course, have them learn a lot about what the Federation does as an organization. And today's obviously was a wonderful opportunity to bring the two of those together and actually have them bring their families involved as well. So that's why Lucas got to join us today as well.
That's really a wonderful opportunity. Your motto is "Doing good is good for business." Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Yeah, it's been that for a couple of years now, and I think it really does fit exactly what we're trying to accomplish. As business people in the community, our lives are at a constant going pace. We've got so many different things pulling in so many different directions, but when you can stop for a second and understand the type of organization that the Federation is and what it does for the community at large, this idea that you can get people to think about giving back to the community and finding where they find things most passionately, it'll enhance their relationships in the community, it'll enhance their business opportunities, and really just makes a more cohesive network of folks.
So how do you market this opportunity?
Yeah, so throughout the year we try to have different events, like I mentioned. Many of them can be our breakfast type events with speakers or nighttime events with speakers as well. A couple of happy hours throughout the year to get folks out of their offices at a certain times. And obviously events like today where we can invite not only them but their families to join us for, and that's really the best way to kind of keep the momentum moving. Yeah.
I'm sure it's very gratifying.
Yeah.
Why is it so important for a young family like as yourself to be involved with the Jewish community?
Sure, I think, look, in my opinion, in our world, I think, again, being a busy professional, having school for the kids and all the things that are so important, the ability to build a strong Jewish culture and identity in our children and our foundation is really important to me. And what better way to do that but through the Federation system, which really is the central address of all that goes on around here, from the agencies like the JCC to Jewish Family and Children's Services, even up to the Morse. There's just so many ways in which the Federation touches different organizations, and I think that for our family, that's just been a great fit.
What motivated you to become involved? What in your background actually?
It's interesting. I think as a young person, having gone through Jewish summer camp was a great foundation, but really didn't get very active until when I started my professional life. And having spent some time in New York and in Boston before coming to South Florida, I just realized early on that you can't just spend every minute and every day worrying about work and everything you think you have to about related to work. And so you have to kind of get out of that framework and do something else important. And for me, it just was always easy to gravitate to some group like the Federation that was so welcoming and touched so many different aspects of a community. And my wife and I have met some of the best friends we've ever could have met, and our kids have met some of the greatest friends they could have ever met. So it really just was a perfect fit for us.
Can you tell us some of the opportunities that you have going this year in your schedule, your JPN schedule?
Yeah, sure. Well, we've had some great events thus far. We had a really wonderful breakfast featuring Jeff Green. We learned all about his perspective on the real estate community here in South Florida. We have a number of events scheduled through the JCRC, which is the Jewish Community Relationship Council, to learn about the work that they're doing. We have another big marquee event coming later in the year with a very wonderful featured speaker. We're not ready to talk about it just yet, but there's some excitement around that. So yeah, throughout the year we're going to try and build, like I said, breakfasts and dinners for the folks to get out and really meet one another.
Your passion and enthusiasm is really very contagious. I mean, you've been doing this. I think you've been the chair for over 3 years now.
Yes, it's my third year, and we're excited to be working now on building a bigger cabinet of folks that hopefully will really help and support the leadership going forward after I step down as chair. But my involvement in the Federation as a board member, a member of the investment committee, has really been a rewarding experience for me. And I hope, just because I may step down as chair one day doesn't certainly mean I'm going to be relinquishing my responsibility back to the organization.
I don't think the Federation will let you step back.
Thanks.
Do you have any opportunities to travel to Israel with the Federation? Are there?
Sure. I think the greatest thing that I could have had happen to me in the last 10 years that I've been in South Florida was having the opportunity to go to Israel with the Federation as part of a 15-person mission, which you were part of, and it was a life-changing experience. And the goal for JPN, if we really are successful in what we're trying to accomplish, is to have such a strong network of professionals that actually design a trip to Israel ultimately as a group together, which other federations around the country actually do. So that's sort of our 5-year mission, and I think we can get there with the kind of momentum that we have now.
Well, if we have leaders such as you, I'm sure we can get there.
Thank you.
What's the unique impact as a Jewish professional? What does that have on our community as opposed to other demographics?
I think the key for the professional component of it is that we're touching so many other folks within our daily lives. So whether they're doctors or they're lawyers or they're accountants or financial professionals, we have the ability to bring the message of the Federation back to those folks that we're interacting with all the time. But the other thing I think is so unique is the power of a strong business connection within the community really does foster a community that succeeds together as opposed to individually. So I think that is really the most important part.
And when you were growing up, your parents, were your parents very involved in Jewish Federation, or is this something that
Yeah, not really.
later on?
We were, I think my earliest memories of involvement were through Super Sundays, which were a big part, I think, of those years. But that was really the extent of my understanding of the Federation. As I said earlier, I went to Jewish summer overnight camp, which was, again, for me, just felt like camp, but obviously I really got the experience and understanding of what the impact of something like that could have long term. Ultimately, my Federation life started when I joined my firm where I work and learned a lot about how all of the senior folks that I admired so much had actually given themselves back to organizations, in particular the Federation, and this was in New York with the UJA. And so through their suggestions of, hey, get involved, do something not related to work that you're connected to, that's how I found the UJA in New York. My wife and I were then asked to move to Boston for work as well. And again, what easier way to connect to the community than to go through the CJP and their organization. Right. And we made great friends and we had events to go to, and all of a sudden we felt like we were welcome in a community that we didn't know anybody. And so then we moved back to South Florida. And again, obviously, what better way to reconnect to people that we did know and to meet a lot of new folks, and that's been the 10-year journey that we've been on thus far. So and now we have our kids involved in the process as well, so it will hopefully continue to be a big part of our lives.
So how do you involve the kids?
Well, days like today is a prime example. Obviously having a really wonderful opportunity to bring them to the Boys and Girls Club to help out and do the things that Lucas talked about today that he did, help them understand how there are those in this community that are less fortunate is a prime way.
It's a great lesson.
Fantastic lesson. And obviously there are other great ways in which we connect them back. I mean, we're at the JCC most weekends playing basketball, and so that's a huge component of our lives. And Lucas goes to JCC day camp, so the Federation touches all of that as obviously the big organization that supports all these different agencies. So I think that's the best way we can include our kids in this.
Well, that's wonderful. You enjoy camp?
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, thank you very much for joining us, both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Go back to work.
Coming up, final thoughts on Mosaic. It really was a wonderful program. I mean, you think about what people can do to make the world a better place. I love that.
Yes, and yes, it was very impactful. Thank you for joining us, and join us again next week when we take another look into the Jewish world. Goodbye from Mosaic.